Get away from her, you bitch!
Feminism in film is a topic that has been thoroughly discussed and represented, so today we'll be talking about feminism in an action landscape. Specifically, we'll be comparing its foundations with Aliens and its prominence with Mad Max Fury Road. Firstly, the movement of female heroes began with James Cameron's depiction of the character of Ripley in the 1986 film Aliens, the theatrical cut. Problematically, as this film was a hard-body depiction of America in response to the Vietnam War, the feminist quality is rather blunt. Alternatively, present-day Hollywood produced a sequel to a male-led trilogy that expresses strong feminist themes in George Miller's 2015 film Mad Max Fury Road. In this video essay, I'll be comparing how feminist themes are presented in the hard-body characters of Aliens and the modern female empowerment themes of Mad Max Fury Road.
Check it out. I am the ultimate badass. Yeah. State of the badass art. You do not want to fuck with me. Check it out. Hey, Ripley, don't worry. Me and my squad of ultimate badasses will protect you. Check it out.
With the 1980s came a new wave of action heroes, mostly determined by the hard-body movement of characterization, but also by other political and ideological landscapes, such as feminism. Today's example is Aliens, a film that took a sexually villainized parasite pinned against a non-militarized crew and turned it into a macho splatterfest or bug hunt.
I only need to know one thing. Where they are.
James Cameron's film is allegorical to the infamous Vietnam War, but continues this female protagonist's feminist twist in a very masculine direction. Cameron's film could have retrospectively had an all-male cast, as there are no feminine traits present in the film, specifically the theatrical cut, as the motherhood theme is still present between Ripley and Newt, but isn't as maternal as the special edition is. Instead, Ripley is shown in an all-masculine iconography. The boots, the long pants, the tank top and jacket, the short haircut, lack of makeup, all result in this masculinized female hero. Considerably, the rest of the female cast retain these same details, with only quips to showcase the fact that they're women.
Hey, Vasquez. Have you ever been mistaken for a man?
No. Have you?
Oh, Vasquez. He just too bad.
Yvonne Tasker writes that Vasquez enacts the female action persona of the ball-busting woman. Tasker's book, Spectacular Bodies, examines the masculinization of female characters in action films. Her chapter on action heroines in the 1980s states that, in order to function effectively within the threatening macho world of the action picture, the action heroine must be masculinized. She goes on to detail how the masculinization of the female body is depicted visually, through muscles, weaponry, and clothing.
I'd like to keep this handy for close encounters.
I heard that.
Lastly, Tim Blackmore's essay, Is This Going to Be Another Bug Hunt?, identifies the Vietnam War context present in Aliens. Blackmore's segment, titled Hunting Vietnam, identifies the reflection of the Vietnam War within the film, from the military weapons and aircraft, the use of headset cameras that reflect the daily video coverage of the war, and the PTSD presented in Ripley due to the effects of her first contact with the alien. He continues to detail how the alien attack on the base is a reflection of how the North Vietnamese attacked US bases and troops, in waves. Overall, Aliens is a film that depicts a time period where America was changing how it represented itself, through the hard-body attack on the soft-body mindset of the 1970s and the feminist ideals reflected through action heroines. Comparatively, Hollywood updated its action slate with a feminist twist with the release of Mad Max Fury Road. Miller's film placed its male protagonist of Max into the background and promoted Furiosa to the foreground of the action, and of the ideological front. Taylor Bulwer's article, Who Killed the World, discusses the ideological themes in the film. She states, "The film unambiguously denounces capitalism as well as patriarchy. For the fall of civilization and the wretchedness that follows, it exposes the inextricable links between patriarchal masculinity and capitalist exploitation, revealing how these ideologies are co-constitutive and function to objectify, commodify, regulate, and render subjects abject." She continues, "The film's linkage of toxic masculinity to capitalist economic structures is fundamental to both its critique and its utopian possibility. For a rejection of toxic masculinity and an embrace of alternative feminist masculinities, the capitalist tyrant is overthrown." Given how progressive Hollywood is attempting to be and its new politically correct film standards, this underlining feminist message adds to the thematic construct of the film. Fury Road doesn't feel like a film that throws political ideologies in your face, not as a gimmick or as a joke. Rather, it organically creates a story and a world around the feminist message, one in which both Max and the audience take part in by merely witnessing the ride without too much interaction. Director George Miller brought on Eve Ensler, the writer of The Vagina Monologues, as a consultant when making the film. She stated in a Time magazine interview, "Miller wanted me to give them a perspective on violence against women around the world, particularly in war zones. This movie takes those issues head on. I think George Miller is a feminist and he made a feminist action film. It was really amazing of him to know that he needed a woman to come in who had experience with this."
Splendid. Angharad. Where are they?
They are not your property.
Miss Kitty!
You cannot own a human being. Sooner or later, someone pushes back.
Where is she taking them?
She didn't take them. They begged her to go.
Where is she taking them?
A long way from you.
For a film set in the mostly masculine-driven genre of the post-apocalypse, incorporating a feminist theme into the structure of the film is not just rare but audacious. Focusing on the film's actual protagonist, Furiosa, Rolling Stone's Peter Travers describes her as the film's bruised heart and soul, and is the closest the film comes to a conventional hero. Kevin Gallagher says in his essay that, in essence, Furiosa is part of a long-standing tradition of female action heroes that can kick butt just as hard as any man, but are able to show raw emotion, where more traditional male heroes may just grunt stoically. As the film utilizes its male characters not just as antagonists, but as protagonists too, this allows the film not to step into the area of all men are evil, rather just some are. Overall, Fury Road is a depiction of feminism in an action landscape that perfects its themes through character and narrative. Aliens and Mad Max Fury Road are both feminist action films, but present the ideology in great contrast due to the period of when the films were made. Cameron's film may strive in its mild feminist and motherhood subtext, but is overshadowed by its hard-body response to the Vietnam War films of the 1970s. However, Miller's film encapsulates a changing period in Hollywood action film history, with a strong feminist focus without the throw-it-in-your-face attitude. He presents his themes through the heart and soul of the film, its narrative context, and the characters.